We went to the grocery store, came back, so I go to the trunk to get the groceries or whatever, and I find men's boxers in the trunk. Now, I know for sure these aren't mine.
Excuse me, there was another man in the picture.
And
3 weeks after he was born?
No,
Yep.
But this is because during that time, Your Honor, that he had threatened to Timothy.
Your Honor, she
without
threatened
her
to
knowledge,
take my
take
dad.
him to Cleveland.
And I don't
How
know.
could you not
if-
find me?
I couldn't
And then,
find you.
I mean, Mr. Johnson, it's a
Mr. Johnny and your
possibility
mother
that
was full of crap,
he
right?
was
Full of crap.
Yeah.
You said you used to pick her up
Yes.
when she was little and
Yes.
take her.
Mr. Cooper learns that the man he believed was his father is not his biological father. Instead, the defendant, Mr. Newby, is alleged to be. Mr. Cooper's reaction reflects his shock and confusion about his identity and lineage. Grab some popcorn, because this roller coaster is just getting started.
Mr. Cooper, your mother recently came clean that the man you believe to be your dad is not your biological father, and the defendant is. Ms. Cooper, you say you held the secret for just too long, and you felt your son deserved to know that Mr. Newby is his father.
Did that really just happen? During a late-night call, Mr. Cooper's mother reveals a life-changing secret to him, that the man he thought was his father isn't, and points him towards Mr. Newby. This moment emphasizes the emotional weight of revealing such a secret and the impact it has on Mr. Cooper. The plot thickens, so stay tuned.
I get a call about 3 o'clock in the morning. My mama called and told me that the person she told me was my daddy and wasn't my father, that this gentleman was, and to go online and look him up.
And this is what your mother tells you.
I mean, she was like, don't be mad at her or whatever. A lot of things ran through my mind.
Like
I
what?
thought it was a joke, actually, honestly. I thought she was playing.
Because that was so far outside of your realm of thinking.
Yeah.
You can't make this stuff up. Ms. Cooper discloses that she did not realize she was pregnant until 5 months into her pregnancy, highlighting her naivety and the complexity of her situation as a teenager, unaware of her own body's changes. You won't want to miss what's next.
I didn't know I was pregnant. I didn't know I was pregnant until I was 5 months pregnant. I didn't know what pregnancy was. And then I had a teenage friend that was pregnant also at the time. And she was kind of the one that told me that she thought I might be pregnant too.
So you're so young that when you become pregnant, you don't even know.
Yes, Your
because you don't know you don't experience the changes in your body. You don't even know what's going on. A teen that says, I think you're pregnant too, and she was pregnant.
And the twists keep coming. The court learns that Ms. Cooper's mother assumed another young man was the father based on social interactions rather than truth, compounding the confusion and secrecy surrounding Mr. Cooper's paternity. Brace yourself. The next revelation is a doozy.
She just knew me and Mr. Newby to be just as friends. This other guy I went to the dance with, she just assumed that he was the father, and that's what she said it, and that's what it was.
She said it, and you did not contradict her, or you never mentioned Mr. Newby.
No, Your Honor.
And that goes back to that if you said Mr. Newby's name, you all would be separated. You would not be allowed to see him anymore.
Talk about a bombshell. Mr. Newby recounts his astonishment upon receiving a message about potentially being Mr. Cooper's father, a possibility he had never considered. This revelation underscores the sudden and profound challenges of unexpected paternity claims. Keep your eyes peeled. What happens next is jaw-dropping.
And then I text her back and she didn't say nothing. I said, you can't drop a bombshell on me like that. And I waited until she finally responded. Then I said, does he know this? I said, because how could I be the father? I never seen you pregnant.
You never saw her pregnant.
No, Your Honor.
How is it, she said when she went back to school, she had gained 2 sizes. You weren't in school when...
We didn't participate at the same school.
This just gets more tangled. Mr. Newby expresses his disbelief, having never seen Ms. Cooper pregnant, which highlights the separation and lack of communication that contributed to the paternity confusion. You'll be on the edge of your seat with the next bit.
You submitted that message to the court. This message says, you know what I gotta tell you, some real life. This is your son.
That's the first time I heard anything about this in 34 years.
What did you do at that point that you got the message?
I was just stunned, so I kept asking her questions. I asked her, does he know about this? How could I be the father? I mean, I never seen her pregnant. We all was kids. We all was messing with each other and all that kind of stuff back in the day.
Heartstrings are definitely being tugged here. Mr. Newby reflects on the missed opportunities and the impact of not being a part of Mr. Cooper's life, illustrating the emotional depth and regret involved in these revelations. Hold on to your socks, because the results are coming up.
You never get to know what a great man my father was. It's kind of hit me a little.
I mean, I think...
A little more than it was hitting me. It's hit me a little bit more because I think back how my father raised me and how he treated my grandkids and stuff like that. Hit me. I'm just thinking about how my dad would have loved him and how he would have loved my dad.
The big reveal is finally here. The DNA test results reveal that.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Newby, you are not the father.
Can you handle this drama? Ms. Sanchez presents her case, stressing the importance of the DNA results to validate the paternity of her son, which she believes is essential for advancing her spiritual marriage to a legal one with Mr. Turman. She emotionally conveys that these results could potentially save their troubled relationship, which has been marred by accusations and mistrust. And just when you think it can't get any more intense, it does.
Miss Sanchez, you say today's DNA results mean everything. You are spiritually married to the defendant, but claim his denial that he fathered your 8-month-old son has stopped him from legally marrying you. You need paternity proof to save this relationship.
This part is a real jaw-dropper. Mr. Turman expresses his doubts about being the father of Mrs. Sanchez's son, attributing his hesitation to legally marry her to these uncertainties and her alleged dishonesty. This moment underscores the deep-rooted issues of trust that are holding back their relationship, emphasizing the emotional and legal stakes involved in the outcome of the paternity test. Brace yourself, because the plot thickens right after this.
You doubt you are Jordan's father and say your marriage is not a real legal marriage, and it won't be unless Ms. Sanchez stops lying to you. So, Ms. Sanchez, why is today's result so important to you?
It's important to me to save my marriage with my husband because this has gone on for 2 years of accusations and lies, the fact that he doesn't trust me.
You won't see this one coming. The couple recounts their initial encounter via Tinder, which quickly led to a physical relationship on their first night of meeting. This backstory provides insight into the spontaneous beginnings of their relationship, setting the stage for ongoing trust issues highlighted by a humorous interaction with the judge regarding their swift connection. Wait till you see what's up next. It's a real cliffhanger.
We met on Tinder, and I'm swiping, and I came across her profile, and I super like. So super like is when it goes directly to them, so they know somebody likes you. So she liked me back, we connected. We were supposed to hang out first night. She declined because she was with somebody else she met from Tinder. So the second night is when we actually hung out. She came over, we had some drinks, one thing led to another, and we had sex the first night.
The first night you met?
Yes.
Here's where things get spicy. Mr. Turman details a confrontation that added to his suspicions about Ms. Sanchez's fidelity. He describes how a friend warned him about her reputation, which was a pivotal moment that further fueled his doubts about the paternity of the child and the sincerity of their relationship. Just when you think you've heard it all, the next segment adds more fuel to the fire.
That's where a lot of the trust issues came in because I'm thinking one way, she's thinking another way. I showed my friends pictures of her because I'm hyped, and they send me a video like, yo, isn't this the girl you're talking to? She's at a bar giving somebody else her number. So it just started to form like issues with trust. That we met, then she probably could have slept with him the first night.
Things are heating up. A dramatic revelation occurs when Mr. Turman finds men's boxers in the trunk of their car, leading to a tense exchange in court. This incident is significant as it physically manifests the trust issues plaguing their relationship, bringing a tangible element into the disputes over fidelity and honesty. Up next, things get even more tangled.
We went to the grocery store, came back, so I go to the trunk to get the groceries or whatever, and I find men's boxers in the trunk. Now, I know for sure these aren't mine. I'm like, whose are these? These are not mine.
What?
So
Jerome, I don't
that's
even
the
know
truth.
if I want to
That's
see
what
that
happened.
evidence, though.
They wash it. Yeah, I'll get it.
This next bit will keep you guessing. As they discuss potential conception dates, the couple delves into the specifics of their sexual encounters and the possible implications on the paternity of the child. This technical discussion highlights the complexity and emotional weight of their situation, with Mr. Turman clinging to every piece of evidence to justify his doubts. Fasten your seatbelts because there's more drama ahead.
When is Jordan's birthday?
His birthday is July 9th.
And then I'll press calculate. Sex likely between October 15th and October 21st, 2017.
exactly, the date my friend seen her at the bar talking to the guys. I think it's possible that she went home with that guy and like me and her had sex on the first night. Could have been the same situation.
I never slept with that person.
Prepare for a bombshell. The court session reaches a peak when Ms. Sanchez admits to using hurtful tactics and arguments, revealing her intent to upset Mr. Turman by claiming he was not the father during a heated moment. This confession exposes the depth of their personal conflicts and the destructive patterns in their relationship. Don't go anywhere. anywhere. The ultimate reveal is just around the corner.
You could hurt him a lot of other ways, with a lot of other words. Then the baby isn't yours. Have you really prepared yourself either way? This is a beautiful baby. 8 months, you say you're involved. You're on the birth certificate. With all of this, you still marched your little self in there and signed that birth certificate.
I did. You know, I want a family. I want that whole lifestyle. I love her. But if he's not mine, I just don't see myself moving forward, not having that trust in our situation.
And now for the grand finale. The episode concludes with the judge revealing the DNA results, confirming.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Turman, you are the father.
Buckle up, because here we go. Mr. Montgomery kicks off the episode with a bombshell, proclaiming his belief that he is the biological father of Ms. Parker's 3-month-old Timothy. He wasn't just a bystander at the birth. He named the baby and signed the birth certificate. Plot twist, Ms. Parker now claims her fiancé, Mr. Lanou, is actually the daddy, and the plot thickens. Just wait for what's coming up next.
Mr. Montgomery, you say Ms. Parker led you to believe that you fathered her 3-month-old son, Timothy Montgomery. You say you were present at the birth, named the baby, signed the birth certificate, but now Ms. Parker says you're not the father.
Hold on to your popcorn. Things are getting spicy. The judge listens intently as Ms. Parker expresses her eagerness to erase Mr. Montgomery's name from the birth certificate, fully convinced that Mr. Lanou is the real father. She's banking on today's DNA test to kick Mr. Montgomery to the curb officially. Brace yourself. The emotional roller coaster is just taking off.
Ms. Parker, you claim to be 100% positive that Mr. Montgomery is not your son's biological father because your fiance, Mr. Lanou, is. Today's DNA test will finally allow you to get rid of Mr. Montgomery and allow you to remove his name from your son's birth certificate.
This next scene tugs at the heartstrings. Mr. Montgomery passionately recounts his deep involvement during Ms. Parker's pregnancy, believing wholeheartedly that he is Timothy's father. From prenatal appointments to emotional support, he was all in, even naming the boy after his late father. Don't go anywhere. The drama escalates quickly from here.
I believe I'm the father because, I loved her. Me and her were together. We were sexually active, without a shadow of a doubt. I just believe, she allowed me to sit there and sign the birth certificate.
Because
she allowed me to name the
your
son after my deceased father.
Why would you allow him to do all of these things? At that time, did you or did you not believe he was Timothy's
I thought he was the father.
Things are heating up. As the argument between Mr. Montgomery and Ms. Parker escalates, the judge steps in to cool down the flaring tempers, reminding everyone to keep their eyes on the prize, figuring out who Timothy's father is. You won't want to miss what's revealed next.
But you crying on a woman who's with another man, right?
I didn't have, if you would have stepped up, been there and actually satisfied her needs, you couldn't have if I wasn't.
Let's get some order. Calm down. You have to talk one at a time. I can't hear you, but you're not gonna clown up in here. I am going to ask questions. I need to get the answers because ultimately there is a child on the line. We're trying to figure out who Timothy's father is.
You thought it was juicy before? Just wait. It comes out that Mr. Montgomery was blissfully unaware of Ms. Parker's side dalliance with Mr. Lanou, which was happening right under his nose during her relationship with him. This bombshell raises massive questions about the child's paternity and Ms. Parker's credibility. The saga continues, and it's more tangled than ever.
You were sleeping with Ms. Parker while Mr. Montgomery would be in the house.
Upstairs in the shower. I even told him that we were sleeping together, and all he did, we was face to face, and all he did was walk to the stairs, sit down, and cry. Name a date, name a place. If you got a problem, you can square up with me any day I want.
You remember this conversation when you found out that they were sleeping together?
Absolutely not, Your Honor. I had my
Before
suspicions.
Timothy was born.
Before Timothy was born, no. I had my suspicions, but I never had, concrete evidence that they was actually sleeping around.
Grab your tissues for this one. Mr. Montgomery shares a tear-jerking account of Timothy's birth, his instant connection with the newborn, and his eagerness to embrace fatherhood, despite the swirling paternity doubts. This emotional whirlwind is far from over. Keep watching as tensions rise.
I'm sitting there, I'm holding him for the first time, I bring him to, her face, so she can see him because she had a C-section. I'm sitting there crying. I even told myself that, when he was born, I was like, I'm not gonna cry. Was I nervous? No, I was excited because the simple fact of the matter, I was told that I was gonna be and unlike most men, I was damn proud to hear that I was gonna be a father.
Just when you think you've seen it all, Ms. Parker drops a truth bomb, admitting she only told Mr. Montgomery about the potential other father weeks after the birth, further stirring the emotional pot. The climax of this courtroom drama is fast approaching, and it's a doozy.
Where's your proof?
At what point do you tell Mr. Montgomery Montgomery, excuse me, there was another man in the picture.
And 3 weeks after he was born.
No,
Your Honor.
Yep.
But this is because during that time, Your Honor, that he had threatened to Timothy.
Your Honor, she
without
told
her
me
knowledge,
this in the
and
bed.
take him to Cleveland.
First time she was able to have sex after the baby was born. She waited until after we were done to sit there and tell me, you know, I don't think you're the father. I think, you know, Luke's the father.
As the moment of truth nears, the courtroom is thick with anticipation. Everyone is on edge as they await the DNA test results that will undoubtedly flip lives upside down. The envelope, please, and get ready for a reveal that will rock the courtroom.
Jerome, I'm ready for the results. Thank you. Will you please stand in between them, the reading of the results? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostic.
And boom goes the dynamite. The results are in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Montgomery, you are not the father. Mr. Lanou, you are the father.
Can you believe what just happened? Mr. Tillman starts off by claiming that his biological daughter, Annetta, vanished from his life 3 decades ago, prompting his request for a DNA test to verify his paternity amid doubts stirred by Mr. Johnson. You think this is wild? Just wait for the next part.
Mr. Tillman, you claim your biological daughter, Annetta Tillman, disappeared out of your life 30 years ago, and you haven't seen her since. Now, paternity doubts have led to your petition for a DNA test to prove you are her father.
Here's where it gets juicy. Mr. Johnson steps into the spotlight as a pivotal character in this paternity drama. He shares his long-standing connection with Annetta's mother during her conception time and hopes today's DNA results will crown him as her biological father. Buckle up, this roller coaster is just getting started.
You are the reason for those paternity doubts. You also had a sexual relationship with Miss Tillman's mother at the time of conception and hope today's DNA results prove you are the biological father because you raised her.
And the plot thickens. Mr. Tillman delves into his rather casual relationship with Annetta's mother, starting as a friendship and spiraling into complexity when he discovered she was also involved with other men, Mr. Johnson included. You'll want to stick around because this tangled web is about to get even messier.
So you discovered she was also in a relationship with Mr. Johnson.
I didn't necessarily know that they were in a relationship, but I knew he was dealing with somebody else other than myself.
So Mr. Johnson, you were also in a relationship with the same woman?
Yes, Your Honor. When I met her, she wasn't working, and I was working at a bakery, so I got her a job there. She didn't have a way to get to work. I drove her to work and then took her back home and stuff. I only met Mr. Tillman briefly, one time. It was at a rooming house.
Twist alert. As we dive deeper, the court explores the complicated relationships at the time of Annetta's conception. Mr. Johnson claims ignorance of any real connection to Mr. Tillman beyond a fleeting meeting, adding layers to this mystery. And just when you think you've heard it all, there's more chaos to come.
Did you know about Mr. Tillman?
No, I only met him that one time, dropping her off home from work.
Do you remember this encounter?
He seen me more than once, because he's the one that came and told me when CC was in the hospital having, remember that?
What did Miss Tillman's mother tell you about
She came to my
pregnancy?
apartment one morning after we had been separated, I guess about maybe for almost 5 months. When she showed up at my door, she was pregnant, you know. I in a joking way asked her, you know, what happened to her, and she told me she was pregnant, it was mine.
Did you catch that bombshell? During a heated discussion, Mr. Johnson admits to having a sexual encounter with Annetta's mother on the very day she also was with Mr. Tillman, casting major doubts about who the real father could be. The stakes are high, and the next revelation is even more startling.
It's like Elsa told me that you had sex with her that morning, around about
sex
12
with who?
o'clock. With Cece.
That's Miss Tillman, mother.
Yes, that's her
Okay.
mother. She told me she had sex with you that around about 12 o'clock. And I had stopped by there around about 3 something, and me and her had sex.
I don't remember.
Time for a curveball. Annetta Tillman enters the courtroom. Both gentlemen recognize the chance they might be her dad. Yet Annetta is puzzled since she's only ever seen Mr. Johnson as a father figure. Her reaction to the unfolding drama is something you don't want to miss.
Jerome, would you please escort Miss Tillman into the courtroom, please? Hello, Ms. Tillman. Thank you for being here. Stand over at the podium. Both of these men say that there's a possibility that they are your biological father. Who do you think your biological father is?
Honestly, George, I have no idea. My whole life, I've had Mr. Tillman's last name, but this is a gentleman I've never met before.
You have never, in your recollection, met Mr. Tillman before?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Grab your popcorn. This is getting good. Mr. Tillman recounts his early involvement in Annetta's life, insisting he was around until mysterious circumstances led to her being sent away. This tale of disappearing acts and hidden truths is about to reveal even more, so keep watching.
After your mother and him sent you to Georgia, I lost contact with you.
But you know my name, you know my
I came back several times trying to find you, and I don't know.
How could you not find me?
I couldn't find you.
I mean, Mr. Johnson, it's a
Mr. Johnny and your
possibility
mother was full of crap,
he
right?
was
Full of crap?
Yeah.
You said you used to pick her up
Yes.
when she was little and take her
Yes, I'm the one who gave her
I
her first birthday party.
You won't believe this twist. The DNA results for
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Tillman, you are her father.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.